Kevin, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, it's great to be here.
Now, you were part of The State, which was an NYU sketch comedy group that got a show on MTV that lasted a good 30 episodes. What do you think set you as a sketch comedy group apart from the others?
Well, you know, at that time, there weren't that many sketch groups that were doing their own, that were organic, that had formed on their own and were doing their own writing and acting and directing and producing. I mean, when The State was on MTV, we had our fingers in every bit of that pie, which was, it was outrageous that they were paying us each so that when we were unemployed, our unemployment checks were the same amount as what we were getting while we were there. Meanwhile, we're doing the directing, the editing, everything. But that was a very unique situation. Ordinarily, you have something like at SNL where the writers are on one floor, the actors are on another. There's all sorts of decisions that are being made by media, by the brass of the network. There was a lot less interference with us, so it was a much more. There's just a lot of nuance in it that's very, very specific and unique to our voice. And I think a lot of people really responded to that. A lot of people in high school at the time and college felt like, wow, this feels like a style of humor that I can really relate to and that the kind of joking around I would do with my friends.
So you're saying your group wrote, acted in, and directed your own content. Do you think your group is sort of a precursor to YouTube in a way?
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, we would do a lot of that ourselves when we would have situations where MTV would say, I don't know about that script. We would often say, let's shoot it and edit it anyway and see if we can still sneak it on. And so we would do things with our own cameras and our own equipment and like borrow someone's yard and do things completely guerrilla style. And a lot of those sketches are now considered classics that we did finagle in the end.
Tell us about the Porcupine Racetrack sketch.
Porcupine Racetrack was huge. That was a huge production. We hired a Broadway choreographer, my dear friend Annie Blankenbuehler, who won a Tony a couple years ago for In the Heights. And we had a whole sound stage for that. But the neat thing about Porcupine Racetrack was it was pitched to us by Tom Lennon. He brought out a script in a writer's room one day, sung it. He had all the little melodies already figured out, and the sketch remained entirely the same as the day it was pitched. We just had a composer come in, a good friend of ours who knew how to arrange music, and he just did all the orchestra parts around those melodies Tom had come up with, and it's pretty much the original vision. The first thing that came to mind when you said that was not literal Porcupine Racetracks, but there's a lot of YouTubes now of kids in high school or college or whatever redoing Porcupine Racetrack, doing their own versions of it. One of them was actually at a big talent show at a high school with like a full cast on stage doing it. So it's great to because we used to do that stuff when we were kids with Python sketches. We would recreate Pythons. A lot of us, when we met each other in the State, we would talk about how, oh yeah, did you and your talent show do the argument sketch? That kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah.